What's up guys, my name is Liam and today we're going to be talking about the Thunderobot ML9. This is a new budget 4K gaming mouse option that has recently hit the market. But is this going to be the perfect gaming mouse for you? Let's check it out. And before we get started today, I do want to let you guys know that metkeys.com actually sent this mouse out to me. So Metkeys, thank you guys very much for that. However, with that being said, they didn't tell me anything to say in this video. So everything you will be hearing will be my own words and my truthful, honest opinions. And coming over to the unboxing, comes with this nice little box. You just pull this tab out. Here at the top, it does look like it comes with the instruction manual. And here in the middle is the mouse. It does come in this white colorway. Also included, it does come with a cable, and this is a USB-C connectivity, and it has a nice little angle there to the end of the cable if you would ever need to plug this in your mouse to charge it. And it also does come with a dongle adapter if you did decide to use the dongle that actually comes stored in the bottom of the mouse. If you do use this dongle, it is only compatible for the 1K polling rate. And then finally, over here to the left, it does come with this charging dock. And let me show you guys here, this charging dock. It's actually magnetic, so the mouse sticks in there pretty nicely. And this dock is what is used obviously to charge the mouse, but this is also the 4K receiver. Metkeys does offer a couple of different options when you're purchasing this mouse. However, this option that I'm sharing with you today, this is the most expensive option they currently offer on the site. With the 4K charging dock included, this package is going to come in at $62.99. This charging dock is pretty cool. It does offer a pretty cool aesthetic to the desktop. It has these rubberized feet here on the bottom, so it stayed in place right next to my mouse pad. No issues at all, didn't move around on me. It does have this button here on the back, and it allows you to cycle through different types of RGB modes. So starting out with the bottom of the mouse, the feet that do come in here are pretty much the same thing that have been featured on some of these other budget options. They are PTFE skates, but as you can see here, they're a solid white color. They're a little bit harder and more firm, and the glide on them might not be necessarily the best, but they do work pretty well overall. And coming over here to the bottom, it does have this spot in here that is magnetic, where you can store the 1K receiver. It's easy to put in and easy to remove. I do recommend taking this receiver out of the mouse and leaving it out of the mouse if you are going to be using the 4K option, because it kind of helps out a little bit more with the balance. It takes an additional 2 grams out of the rear of the mouse. Up here to the right, you have the DPI button to change your DPI. And then over here to the left is the power button. And coming over to the top, it doesn't feel like there's any type of a coating on here. It just feels overall like a plastic injection mold. Over here on the right side, and on the left side, it does have these little indents going into the mouse. I guess they're supposed to give you some additional grip, and I'm not really sure if they do that. I'd probably prefer not having them, but they never really bothered me or bothered my fingers or anything like that. And once I started gaming with this mouse and got used to it, I honestly forgot that they were even there. I didn't even notice them. The clicks on mouse 1 and 2 are actually, they're pretty good. There's a little bit pre-travel, not a whole lot. And it can make contact with the shell, but I didn't see it being too much of a problem even when I was spamming my clicks in the game. The clicks are pretty nice. They have some pretty good feedback. I do feel like there is a bit more pre-travel on the right click, but I would say that these clicks feel really good. They have good quality. They feel pretty solid. As you can see, they're very minimal play when it comes to side, not a whole lot of switch rocking. And it does get a little harder to activate the switch once you go further back on it and a little easier towards the front, but I would say that it does feel pretty consistent. The rubber ring on the scroll wheel, it feels really grippy. It does its job. There's nice defined steps when you're scrolling the wheel, and the button on the middle scroll wheel, it feels great. It's really easy to spam. It's nice and springy. Doesn't feel too rough or anything like that, so it's been a very enjoyable experience. The side buttons also really solid as well. They have very minimal pre-travel. They have a slight bit more of post-travel, but there's a nice solid stop there in the back of the mouse if you push it in too much. I do feel like the front side button has a little less pre-travel, a little less post-travel. It feels a little more stiff, but great implementation here for the price of this mouse. I can say that I am really impressed. The shell and construction on my copy, it feels great. I've been pushing into it, being pretty hard with it, and I don't notice any type of a flexing, bending, no creaking, popping, anything like that. So, you know, overall, this has been a very solid mouse. And next up, when it comes to the weight and balance, I do feel like this mouse is a little bit rear heavy. And when we were to check out the side-to-side balance, as you can see there, it is a little bit heavier on the left side. And when it comes to the weight, with the 1K receiver removed from the bottom, looks like we got it coming in at approximately 67.6 grams. To download the software, I included a link down below in the description. Once you click on this link, if you are using a browser like Chrome, it should allow you to convert some of the Chinese on this website to English. You're going to want to scroll down the page until you see the peripherals tab right here in the middle, and then you're going to want to click on this. Next, you want to scroll all the way down to the bottom until you see the ML903. Click over here to download it, and after you install the software, you're going to want to open it up, and then we'll be ready to move forward to pair the 4K dock to the mouse. And to pair the 4K dongles, it was actually really easy. All you need to do is make sure that the mouse is on, and then you'll plug the 4K dongle into the back of your motherboard. Once you receive this prompt, you just simply hold down the side buttons and you hold down the middle scroll button all together, and it should only take a few seconds to pair. And then once I got into the software, I just simply went to go enable the 4K option. I made sure to adjust the bounce time. These are the settings that I found work out best. And when I was gaming with the ML9, I truly feel like the performance worked really well in here. I never had any issues with the 4K performance. It was solid from the very second that I got it set up and running on Apex Legends. The responsiveness and the tracking felt great, and I never had any hiccups along the way while I was using it. I would say that the shape on this is fairly unique. It does feel a bit more narrow, but at the same time, it kind of feels like a bit of a larger style mouse. And then when it comes to the side profiling, it just feels kind of flat from rear to front, with the most narrow part of the mouse being about right here. So it's kind of similar to like the Cooler Master MM712. And moving over to the top, it kind of has a higher feeling, something similar to the Logitech GPro Superlight. The one thing is, however, is if you can see here, the top right here is pretty flat. So there's not really much of a noticeable hump in the middle, but it does kind of feel like almost like it has more of kind of a rear hump. This is kind of flatter, but it still kind of bulges out in the rear there to kind of give you that rear hump feeling effect as you're holding it in your hands. And the way that I was gripping this mouse when I was gaming was something like this. And as you can see, with that rear hump there, with kind of the bubble at the back of the mouse, it just overall makes the mouse feel like it's a bit longer and it fills up your hands a bit more. And when comparing the ML9 to something like the Logitech GPro Superlight, the size of these mice, they do feel similar to one another when you have them in the hands. I would say that some of the biggest differences is I feel like the GPro Superlight has more of a mid hump, where the ML9 feels a bit flatter to the top. And though the GPro Superlight does taper off slowly, and it does kind of have this lower part that kind of fills up the bottom of your palm, I do feel like on the ML9 that the rear bump out here, it kind of sticks up higher and it kind of sticks out a little bit further. So on the rear end of the GPro Superlight, it feels flatter back here, and you feel like you get more of a hump back here in the rear of the ML9. And when you are holding the ML9 in the hands, it does feel like it is a bit more of a narrow mouse compared to the GPro Superlight. And when you come over here to the rear of the mice, as you can see, the GPro Superlight kind of tapers off to the sides more aggressively, towards I feel like it's a little bit flatter over here on the ML9. And that just kind of shows where in the rear of the mouse, you can see the ML9 just kind of feels like it fills up your palm a bit more than the Logitech GPro Superlight. And when you go back and forth between these two mice, I feel like the Logitech GPro Superlight feels like it has more of an obvious noticeable middle hump, and the ML9 just kind of feels a little bit more similar to something with a rear hump. And next up, we'll be comparing the ML9 to the Lamzu Atlantis OG V2 Pro. When you're holding both of these mice in the hands, the ML9, it does kind of feel like a bit of a longer style mouse, which is kind of how the rear hump comes out. It seems like a bit further than the Lamzu Atlantis. On the side profiling, the Lamzu Atlantis has much more aggressive curves, whereas overall the ML9 feels like a much flatter mouse in the hands. And though the most narrow part on the Lamzu Atlantis here in the middle, the width doesn't feel too far apart from one another, since the Atlantis does flare out more aggressively towards the rear. and towards the front, and the way that it curves towards the top, it definitely makes the Lamzu Atlantis feel like just a wider mouse overall. As you can clearly see on the Lamzu Atlantis, it just overall has a slower taper from the middle to the sides at the top, making it feel like a wider mouse. And finally, looking at the top of these mice, as you can see here on the Atlantis, when you hit the rear curve, it has this more aggressive taper off towards the rear, to where I feel like the rear of the ML9, it just sticks out a bit more. And again, when you're holding this in the palm of your hands, if you're doing some type of a palm grip or a claw grip, it just overall makes the mouse feel a bit longer. All right, and then finally, when comparing the ML9 to the Pulsar X2, I would say that these two mice, they do feel pretty similar to one another. When you do come over to the side profiling, as you can clearly see, the ML9, it does feel a bit more narrow than the Pulsar X2, but the side curve profile on both of these mice, they both feel pretty flat. Coming over to the back of the mice, I do feel like the hump on the Pulsar X2, it feels a little bit more pointy. As you can see here, the way that it curves from the top middle point of the mouse, it falls off to the sides a little bit more aggressively. And at the top of the ML9, it just feels like it has a flatter profile from left to right. And then finally, when you look at these mice from the side, as you can see here, the X2, it kind of curves down more towards the front, more aggressively. And as you can see what I was talking about here, it kind of has a more pronounced hump at the top part of the mouse over here, to where on the ML9, it feels flatter at the top, but as you can see, it sticks out more in the rear with kind of this rear bubble in the back of the mouse, where the X2 kind of curves off more aggressively. So the ML9, it just makes it feel a little bit longer in your hands. So that's my final thoughts on the Thunderobot ML9. The performance and build quality of the mouse has been working out really good for me. So if the shape looks like something that would be appealing to you, then I could say that I would recommend checking it out. All right, guys, so if you have any questions or feel like there's anything I left out in this video, please let me know down in the comments below. Aside from that, if you've enjoyed watching this video and you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.